So I had a client contact me this morning who wants to get involved in real estate investing. She owns a home, but there's a big problem. She doesn't know where she's going to get the money from. And I'm pretty sure there are some of you out there who would love to get started in real estate investing, but there's the major hurdle. You don't have any money, or you have very little money. Well, I'm going to show you 4 ways and possibly give you a 5th extra way that you can find where to get this money at without digging into your own pocket. So for number 5, you're gonna have to watch to the very, very end. Anyway, I'm Dietric Williams. Welcome to another edition of Info on the Go, the show where I give tips, tricks, and insight on how to buy, sell, or invest in real estate the easy way. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, please hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so that you're notified every time I upload content to YouTube. So one of the first ways that I'm going to tell you about is the traditional way, is going straight to the bank. Now, banks have tons of money because, of course, people like you and I deposit our money in banks, and what do they turn around to do? They loan it out to people who want to borrow money to purchase real estate and cars and everything else like that. So there's always that route. But there's going to be some hiccups with that because, of course, they're going to run your credit. They're going to want to know your debt to income ratios. They're going to want to see that you have solid employment and solid income. So there's some hoops that you're going to have to jump through. Now, if you're like my client, she already owns a home. So if you go to a bank looking for money to invest in, they're going to require a larger down payment. Sometimes it's 20, 25% or even higher. I'm not sure about you, but there's a lot of people who don't have that type of money just laying around unless you're a trust fund baby or something like that. So banks is one way, but we probably don't want to go that way. So the second way I'm going to tell you about is private money. That this could be an institution or a single person who just has cash laying around who wants to loan it out, but they want a higher rate of return than what they could get at the bank or in the market. So with private money, your interest rates are pretty much going to be higher, maybe 8% up to 20% sometimes. I know, why would you want to do that? But what they're doing is they're not looking at your credit worthiness like a bank is going to look at you. They're a little bit more lenient. And these are people who aren't necessarily licensed to loan money out, even though they have to follow some of the same governmental laws in the specific states that they're in. But anybody can come off the street and essentially just loan you money to purchase real estate because it's coming out of their own pocket. It's their own private funds, hence the term private lender. The third way is through a hard money loan. Now, these are kind of like private lenders, and there are some private lenders who do hard money loans. However, they do have to follow specific governmental guidelines. There's certain criteria that they have to meet in order to be considered a hard money lender. Now, the terms with these are going to be similar to that of a private lender in that your interest rates are going to be a lot higher. However, the terms are going to be a lot shorter. So most hard money loans only last from a period of 12 to 18 months typically, and they're not looking at your credit worthiness. What they're looking at is the strength of the investment. So if you're looking at making investment purchases, they're going to be looking at that, and they're using the collateral based on that purchase to decide whether they're going to loan you money or they're not. Now, again, your interest rates are going to be a little bit higher, but it could be a way for you to get in the game without using a lot of your own capital or any of your capital at all. Now, why would you either want to do private money or hard lending? Again, if you are credit challenged or there are some issues with payment histories or things like that, and the bank is just not going to loan you the funds that you need to make this purchase, private money or hard money lending can be the way to get you into the real estate investing game. But you really want to do your due diligence about the terms, the conditions, who's loaning the money, what the requirements are, the whole 9 yards, because they're going to loan you money not only to do the purchase, but they're going to loan you money if you need it to do the rehab. So these are great strategies to use if you're going to do the BRRRR method. Now, the BRRRR method is an acronym. It stands for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. That is the cycle that a lot of investors go through using this strategy. They're buying properties, they're fixing them up, they're putting renters in, they let the equity build up, or they take some cash out of that building. That's the refinance part. So they're doing a cash out refi, and then they're using those proceeds to go to the next investment and doing the same thing over and over again. That's how you see a lot of investors when they say, I've got 60 doors or 60 units. That's one of the strategies that they're using to get there. Number 4, seller financing. Now, we don't see this method a lot because it's a seller's market, but in a buyer's market, this could be a huge strategy for you. It doesn't mean you can't get it done in a seller's market. We just don't see a lot of it right now. Now, what is seller financing? It sounds exactly like what it is. The owner who is selling the property, instead of you as a buyer going to the bank, you are calling the owner your bank. So the owner is loaning you money to basically buy the property. And essentially what you're doing is they're lending you money, you're paying them back plus interest, and at some point you will acquire the home. Now, the terms and conditions of all this, you have to work out within the contract. So you either need a great real estate agent or a really good real estate attorney to draft those up so that you as a buyer aren't getting taken advantage of. Because the last thing you want to do is go through seller financing. You find out the seller has gotten a foreclosure on the home and the money that you're paying is pretty much out the window. So just make sure that the way that you craft the deal up is a benefit to both of you so that if something happens, you're not caught with your hands in the cookie jar and they're walking away with, you know, an asset or money that you paid them, and in the end you get nothing in return. Now, the 5th way, and this is the bonus tip, and I guess it could actually be 5 and 6 because I lumped them together. So you can do friends and family or strangers. Yes, you can go to mom and dad, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, whoever the case may be, and ask them for money. The other way you can do it is through strangers. Well, how can you ask a complete stranger for money? You go through a source of crowdfunding, and there are plenty of crowdfunding sources to help you get into the real estate game. Now, crowdfunding is essentially people coming together with a similar interest to purchase real estate, and they're putting their money in and saying, hey, let's do a deal together. Now, you have to be careful about how you structure these types of deals out. Sometimes it's what we call a joint venture, 2 people or 2 entities getting together to make a purchase. Sometimes they're just giving you the money. They're supplying the funds. You are serving as the project manager. So you're doing all the sweat equity and they're providing the actual monetary equity. So again, you just want to make sure that whatever terms you agree to are really solid, because I've seen deals like this blow up. Family members and friends have gotten into huge fights and lawsuits galore, and it gets really, really ugly. But this is a good way to get into the real estate game if you have little or no money and you find a group of people who want to just get together and do the same thing. Now, I tried to do this with a group of friends years ago before the term crowdfunding was really, really popular. When I said it at the time, people looked at me crazy, and I said, look, there's 10 of us. If we each pitch in 10 grand, we can go someplace and purchase a multifamily building, like an apartment building or something like that. So at the time, you probably could get a 4-unit in Los Angeles for around $500,000. Probably be hard pressed to find that now, but nevertheless, back then I pitched it. Everybody laughed. They said I was crazy. Don't you know, a lot of those same friends came along after they saw the real estate market booming, and they said, man, Dietrich, had we done this, this could have changed the trajectory of our families for many generations to come. So don't knock crowdfunding. And if you have a group of people, again, with similar interests, this may be a way for you to get in by leveraging not just your money, but other people's money as well. So crowdfunding, joint ventures, and stuff like that. Now, you have to be careful with some of these crowdfunding sites because some are for non-accredited investors and credited investors. Most of you are going to be non-accredited investors. And what that means is that individually, you make less than $200,000 a year as a single, or less than $300,000 a year as a married couple. It also means you have a net worth of less than $1 million, and this will not include or does not include your primary residence. Now, for non-accredited investors, there are some great sites such as Realty Mogul, Motive, and CrowdStreet. Again, you just want to do your research when you're looking into this, and just to make sure that you are doing your due diligence and protecting yourself from anything that could possibly come up. Because if you're in California like I am, this is a highly litigious state, and people will sue you just for sneezing on their sidewalk. I mean, it's not that serious, but you get the point. Anything can happen, and I always say, hope for the best, plan for the worst. If you do that, you should be okay. So there you have it. There's 5 ways that you can get into investing in real estate without using your money or with having very little money down. Now, You have to run the numbers in terms of your real estate investment to see and make sure that it makes sense for you. If the numbers don't make sense, it's not going to make sense, if you get what I'm saying. It won't make sense for you, and you could possibly be paying a hard money lender or a private lender or a bank way more money than the investment is worth. So again, make sure you do your due diligence. But if you go search for these 5 sources, you too can become a real estate investor in no time.